I'm so happy to be here. Welcome. Not what you were expecting. This poor lady's so confused. She's looking at her husband like, oh, gee, my Carol Burnett really let herself go. Wow. Being our age is terrific, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm in my 50s. Late 50s. Very late 50s. I'm 63. I keep hearing that 60's the new 40. Have you heard that? What kind of messed up thinking is that? 60 is the new 60. This is what it looks like, and we are rocking it, my friends. Yeah, I know aging's not always good. Yeah, I know, I'm rocking it. Drinking the magic, just drinking the magic. Aging's not always pretty, I know. I can say goodbye till you're half a mile down the road. My arms just keep waving. I recently got married. I did. I'm so glad to be done with dating. When you're my age, looking for a husband, it's like buying secondhand shoes. You know, over 50, you can't shop new. There's the seconds, the irregulars, and the returned items. So there I am, standing in front of the clearance rack. You know, it is, they look nice, right shape, right size, right color, but you know lots of women have taken them off the rack, tried them on, and put them back. There's something wrong with them, you just don't know what yet. A little bit about me. I attend a 12-step program, actually 2 of them. I know there's been some talk about 12-step programs tonight. I attend Overeaters Anonymous. Shocker, I know. And also AA. I'm not an alcoholic, but they have cookies at the meetings. Another little fun fact, and at Overeaters Anonymous, our higher power is Sarah Lee. We don't mess around. Another fun fact, I also have bipolar disorder, which is way more useful than it seems. Terrific piece of advice for anyone struggling with mental illness: become a stand-up comic. I'm just saying. Right now. You do this on street corners, you know, yelling at passing strangers, you're a public nuisance. You do it here, you get a dressing room. So what we're doing, see, all my neuroses, I'm just tossing them out like frisbees. Worry, anxiety, compulsion, obsession, pew, pew, pew. I am outsourcing my mental illness. Here you go. I'm like the Oprah of crazy. You get insomnia, you get insomnia, you all get insomnia! So one of the things that happens as you get older, or I've heard, is you start losing something called, I'd never heard of this before, muscle mass. I was news. I was at the doctor for my physical last month. He starts ranting on about mass. I need mass. I'm losing mass. I gotta get mass. I need more mass. I don't know what he was talking about. I'm not even Catholic. In my neighborhood, they call me the cool grandma. We got any cool grandmas in the audience here tonight? Woo, cool grandmas, yeah. I am the cool grandma. I sail and I do yoga and I paint and I do music and I travel. I got a great social life. You know, I have time and money to do all that. I don't have any grandkids. Those little monsters really suck up their time, I'm just saying. So, being a comedian, I fly all the time because I am making like tens of dollars doing this. I just had to take a little 12-seater, tiny plane out of Phoenix a couple weeks ago. And it was so small that they take your weight before boarding the plane for balance. They don't even have you step on a scale anymore like they used to. They just take it right off your driver's license. You're way ahead of me. Why they thought that was going to be reliable is anybody's guess. You ladies understand, that number on your license, that's an aspirational weight. So the gate agent looks at my license and she looks at me, back in the license, back at me, and she says, "Oh honey, don't worry, we round up." I'm getting on the airplane thinking, honey, unless you round up 40 pounds, this airplane is going down! I just came from San Diego, and you know, the West Coast is beautiful. No prettier than Michigan, may I say, but it's beautiful, the Pacific Ocean. I really wanted to swim, but unlike Lake Michigan, where we are, there are things in it that will eat you, which is a bit of a deal breaker for me. So I was in my hotel room before going out and I Googled how to not get eaten by a shark. And there was a list. There was a list. Number 2 on the list, second most effective way of not getting eaten by a shark. I swear to you, this is what it said. Know your shark. I have never been on a first-name basis with a marine predator ever. How about you? Oh, that fin over there. Oh, that's just Bob. Hey, Bob, how's it hanging? See you bowling on Friday? Yeah, okay, swim away. I don't know. But I finally found a place. Number one way, top of the list. I absolutely tell you, this is the truth. This is what it said. How to not get eaten by a shark. Are you ready? Got your attention? This is important. Stay out of the water. But I left the hotel. I finally found a place I felt comfortable swimming. I felt safe. And I wasn't in the water 2 minutes. And here comes the fin. I could see it in the distance coming for me. Toward me. My first thought was, I do not know this shark. So it gets close, and I panicked. I completely panicked. I started punching the water. It was thrashing. There was blood everywhere. People are screaming and running. And 2 guys came and hauled me out of the water. It's 3 weeks ago. I'm still completely traumatized by it, as presumably the poor dolphin was also. So now I'm banned from SeaWorld. When I'm not performing comedy, I'm just a normal, everyday housewife. I love being married. Love, love, love it. I've done it, I don't know how many times. One of my practice husbands was Mexican. And back in the day, 30, 40 years ago, that was kind of a big deal. I had to bring him home to my family, and I come from a very, very white bread Pentecostal family. Okay, you know the Pentecostal women, we're the one with the really tall hair, closer to Jesus. And an interesting prayer hierarchy. If it be thy will and my husband says it's okay, amen. So I explained to my family I'm bringing home a Mexican boy. And my sister, Charity Hope Faith, that's just one person, we're Pentecostal. My sister, Charity Hope Faith, her eyes rolled back in her head. She started speaking in tongues. She laid her hands on me and said, "Oh, sister, you need Jesus," which worked out really well because that was his name. Anyway, he was a bad guy. As it turned out, he was a serial philanderer, and he died. You must have known him. He died of a big C, chlamydia. I didn't think you could die of that either. It turns out you can if you give it to my cousin Mimi. She loves Jesus, but she'll beat you to death. He had it coming. So now I'm very happily married. I just married a 31-year naval officer. Got any military folks in the house? Thank you for serving. My husband, he did 3 tours in Vietnam. He's been waterboarded. He spent days in a cage with a sack over his head and his hands tied behind his back. So it's hard not to take it personally when he says being married to me is torture. But I love him. Oh, I'm so crazy about this man. I don't know what to do with myself. I really am. Oh, he says, See, there's a difference in how audiences respond to male and female comedians when they say something nice about their spouses. If I'm a male comic and I tell you how much I love my wife, you go, "Oh, like, what a great guy." If I'm a female comic and I tell you how much I love my husband, you all go, "Oh, like, what a great guy." But he's a lot older than I am. He's getting a little bit worried. You know, his hair's thinning and his body isn't what it used to be. And, you know, I love him to pieces. I just reassure him all the time. I said, "Sweetheart, I didn't marry you for your hair or your body. I married you for your money. I thought we were so clear on that." So clear. My weight's always been an issue. Anyone struggle with their weight? Yeah, it's tough. It's tough. I've tried everything except, you know, eating less. That's just crazy. You see, the deal is, when you love cookies, they love you back. Salad doesn't know how to love. Salad doesn't care if you have had a bad day. You put a salad in the fridge, 3 days later, it's all slimy and gross. You put a cookie in that same fridge, 3 days later, bam, still a cookie. That is loyalty, my friends. The problem is every food's delicious, even the ones I don't like. My favorite place on the food pyramid is donuts. And gravy. Gravy is a sauce and a beverage. What a utility player! You can't keep up with the diet advice. It's always changing. Now they tell us chocolate and red wine are healthy and romaine lettuce will kill you. I recently joined a medical weight loss program in my little hospital in my little middle Michigan town, and I've been there since August. I've lost 4 months. There's a sign on the wall at the clinic where I go, and it says, you all know this phrase. You can say it with me. It The science says at the weight loss clinic, nothing tastes as good. Nothing tastes as good as being thin feels. Clearly, these people have never microwaved a donut. I tried Thin Mints, by the way. They don't work. I hate the well-meaning things that people say to you when you're overweight. Unsolicited advice. You ever get that? So rude. People walk up to me every day of my life and say, "Oh, you've lost weight. Have you lost weight? You look good. You've lost weight. Oh, you've definitely lost weight." I have not lost weight. It's someone's way of saying, "I remember you fatter." And unsolicited at the gym. Yeah, I do go to the gym. It's messed up. I work for this. Unsolicited at the gym, a lady walks up to me and says, "You know, your life would just be so much easier if you took off a few pounds." My life is easy. Olive Garden delivers. See, back when we were a more primitive society, we were all hunters and gatherers. Anyone who could consume a lot of food and store excess body fat lived longer. I'm not a glutton. I am evolutionarily superior. Yeah, laugh it up. We hit the next ice age. I am the last woman standing.